one which I'm sort of officially involved in, and one which is just kind of a neat program. The one that Liz is making reference to is they've got a program called Total Learning in Bridgeport, where they take these Head Start kids. Head Start kids are pre-kindergarten, so ages kind of 3 to 5, and instead of just doing the typical reading and Head Start reading and blocks, and all that stuff, they actually introduce a lot of music to the kids. Now these are 3 and 4-year-olds, so it's it's maracas and this sort of thing. But the results have been remarkable. I mean, just what it does to the brain in terms of opening up new pathways and adding to creativity. It really has had. They've studied it, and it's had a lot of impact on producing much better test scores for these kids when they then get on into 5th grade. Or beyond the age of 5 and into kindergarten. But anyway, it's a great program, and we're trying to. It costs money, obviously, so we're trying to find ways to sort of expand it because the results are really very good. And obviously, one of the benefits will be if the kids catch on that young, develop some musical aptitude, that they're that much more likely to, do it in elementary school, which poses a challenge, of course, for the Bridgeport school system in terms of the economics of it. But again, a kid that is really into music versus a kid who's got nothing to do after school.
Exactly.
That's a huge.
You have to know how the curriculum works, what they do. Is it a lot of? Did they learn sight reading, note shapes and stuff like that?
I don't think they get quite to that point. I've visited 2 or 3 times, and what they tend to do is a lot of they give kids percussion, various forms of percussion instruments, and maybe they play something.
So it's very experimental.
I do remember watching a teacher who had a guitar, and they do a lot of sort of dancing and rhythm, and just sort of trying to activate movement, a lot of movement.
Cool.
Yeah, but no, I don't think they take it quite. These 3 or 4-year-olds probably a little young for that. But I'm not sure. The other program, which
Congressman Hines is visiting us.
Hi there. So the other program is that I thought maybe you were referring to. It's not anything I'm officially involved in, but if you don't know about it, I'd love to introduce you to the guy who runs it. Backcountry Jazz is a nonprofit deal that was started by a guy named Benny Wallace, who is a very well-known professional saxophonist. And he's well-known in the kind of movie world. He does a lot of scores for films. I guess if you really know jazz, you might have heard of him. But anyway, he gets a band together out of New York, a first-rate jazz band, and they do a summer camp for kids in Bridgeport, where they actually give you instruments, and they then give lessons to these kids. And they do it. They have a camp. They struggle. They're a very small operation. They struggle financially. But anyway, if you haven't met Benny,
I would like to do that.
There might be a deal where you can help with rental of instruments and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know one of the schools I was just visiting hosts them over in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
They were telling me a little bit about that. So yeah, definitely. That's what we try to do: support the community and give back.
I'd love to introduce you to Benny. Maybe there's nothing for you to do together,
Oh, no,
but why
no.
not have a conversation,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I think it's really important that there are a lot of disparate groups in our area, which is good that they're all supporting music ed, but they kind of don't know each other. So bringing them together, it would be helpful for all of us. So, yeah.
And sadly, as you know, particularly school systems like Bridgeport, they're just under such pressure to cut their budget. So what's the first to go, right? It's after-school sports, it's music lessons,
Right.
and which is how I met Liz, because she comes to DC to advocate for these things.
It's me again. Yeah, well, I really appreciate the fact that you come out and see me on those things.
Yeah.
So, it's great.
Well, it's really short-sighted, I think. Again, particularly in those communities where a kid that, in the suburban community in which I live, a kid with nothing to do after school is going to go home and watch TV, which is not a good outcome. Urban areas where you got tough neighborhoods, that kid's going to get into trouble. And so it's short-sighted to say after-school programs are too expensive. Doing away with that sort of thing is too expensive.
Right. Yeah, there needs some vision into the future to know that the outcome later is being affected by this.
Yeah.
So it's all good stuff, and I know that you're on a tight schedule. Yeah, oh, there you are. But we want to invite you to...
Did you get a bunch of paper? We'll put some...
Yep.
We'll publicize this as best we can.
Oh, thanks. Well, we'll do the same on our end. We've been so excited that you're going to come. Edie risked her life on the last night getting the
Putting up...
Yeah. We'll see how long the town lets us keep them up. It's usually about 6 hours. Anyway, but you're
I will
welcome
absolutely
to have
advocate.
something
Thank
now,
you.
or take it for the road, or whatever.
Thank you all for
what
taking
whatever
time.
you want to
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, everybody join in. No.
We'll email and we'll figure something.
That sounds great. I'll send you. I'll upload it and send you a link to it. I'll picture.
cool.
You can take whatever you need and
Great. If you want any of mine, I don't know. I mean, you're probably pretty
Would you?
Great.
Okay, that's fine. Just so you
Then
know.
just probably just need things.
Yes, it was Kim. Yep.
So, but you can list each of them.
I'm the environment person. Oh, no problem.
Yeah, if you want to.
Get them.
Yeah, exactly. We have wonderful.
All right, too late.
One of the keywords too, when I was in high school, I had a so yeah, there's so much more versatile than,
Well, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that's great.
the sound that they
and kind of seeing real action. I noticed that had almost a realistic action.
Yeah, it's piano weighted now.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you.
You get to meet you in person.
Nice. Not pretty.
We can.
Doesn't it
Feels
feel
just like a
good?
red.
Yeah.